So, hitchhiking. You think you may know about it, but did you know there are two main types? And you've probably only thought of the first one. So firstly, what is hitchhiking? Hitchhiking is listening a free ride from a stranger. This is something unplanned and someone usually that you don't know. So typically, and this is the first type, the kind that people usually think about, hitchhiking, which is to place your thumb out outside the road and wait until someone picks you up. Someone stops by the side of the road, asks where you're going, and then picks you up and takes you a little bit further on your way. And that's the first type. That's probably the main type. That's the type that I rely on much more on my adventures, and which most hitchhikers tend to as well. But did you know that there is a second type? And this depends on where you are, of course. The second type can be more useful depending, again, where you are. So the second type is to, instead of sticking your thumb out or having a sign and sticking your thumb out, this type is to simply ask for a ride. So you approach people in a petrol station, a service station, even in a retail area, and you ask them if they're going closer to where you're hoping to go. And this takes a lot more skill, it takes a lot more courage, because you're approaching the public. Some members of the public might not be open to it. They might see you as a threat to their safety. So you need to be very kind and understanding and keep a positive attitude. And when they reject you, because most of them very much will, you learn to accept it and you move on. And I'd say the second type is probably the one where you're most happiest to get a lift, because it takes so much dedication and you come across so many obstacles that when you do get a lift, you feel such a huge sense of relief and you have this opportunity to connect with a stranger. And the first type also is very fun. It's this anticipation of not knowing when you're going to get a ride, and that can be incredibly exhilarating. So yeah, you may have heard of hitchhiking, you might have tried it yourself, but now you know there are two main types, or at least two main types, and maybe different variations. So those are the two main types of hitchhiking. If you've ever been curious about hitchhiking and want to learn how to hitchhike safely and hitchhike adventurously, or if you've hitchhiked but you want to follow someone that has done a lot of hitchhiking and has a lot of advice and experiences to share, if you want to learn and live a life more adventurously, then be sure to follow along.